Payman.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister for the National Disability Insurance Scheme, Senator McAllister. For many Australians, the NDIS is their lifeline, a system of supports that they rely upon to live a dignified life. For the people who support them, however, life is getting more and more difficult. Costs are going up, yet prices remain frozen. A recent study involving 63 registered NDIS providers found that majority of providers on the NDIS run at a loss. I've met with providers here in the capital and my own constituents in my home state of Western Australia. Minister, what support is the government offering to these providers who are working to provide a better life for our most vulnerable Australians?
Thank you, Senator Payman. Minister McAllister.
Thank you very much, President. Well, Senator Payman, you raise an important issue in relation to the NDIS because you are right to identify that this is a world-leading program and one that has substantially changed the lives of many people with disability. And you're right too to observe that the program is dependent on having a workforce and a provider system that is capable of providing high-quality supports that deliver value for money for participants. And I'd add also that in establishing the NDIS, one of Labor's objectives was to generate a level of innovation within that provider community too, so that the range of services that people with disability might be able to access would increase over time and they'd be able to purchase services that were more aligned to their needs. The pricing in the NDIS really goes to the heart of the question that you asked, Senator, and the pricing for the NDIS is set each year by the NDIS board. It's a board made of eminent persons, many of whom themselves have disability or who have lived experience of disability. The board is conscious that there are opportunities to improve the way that pricing takes place. In the last term, the board sought advice from an independent pricing committee. It's received that advice and it's published that advice. And the advice indicates that there are opportunities for us to move to differentiated pricing, an approach that would recognise some of the features that drive quality in the NDIS service system. The board has also indicated in its most latest releasing its most latest pricing guidelines that it intends to publish a work plan which will step through some of the things that they will be doing to, as they embark upon a process of introducing differentiated pricing.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Payman, first supplementary.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Minister. The word sustainability has featured heavily in the government's rhetoric and language in the past year. According to the Ability Roundtable project, quality therapy providers will run at an average loss of 24.6% this financial year. Does the government believe this situation is sustainable?
Thank you, Senator Payman. Minister McAllister.
Thank you very much, President, and thanks, Senator Payman, for the question. When we talk about sustainability, and there's a lot of commentary about sustainability in relation to the scheme, we're often talking about its fiscal impacts. And of course, when we came to government, under the governance of those opposite, the scheme was growing at over 20% a year. And that had been the case for some years, and nothing had been done to rein that in or deal with that challenge. When we received the review, the independent review undertaken of the scheme, they acknowledged that this was not sustainable, and if we want a scheme that will last for the long term, we need to deal with that. It doesn't mean, as I indicated in my answer to your primary question, that we should ignore questions around quality. One of the things that we have initiated this year, or the board has initiated this year, is a pilot that will work with quality providers of SIL supports and of therapy supports to understand the drivers of quality in their businesses.
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering has expired. Senator Payman, second supplementary.
Thank you, President. A major issue that's affecting providers is the freezing of prices. As I mentioned in the preamble, therapy support prices have frozen since 2019, but providers' costs have risen dramatically due to rising cost of living and cost of doing business. How long does the government expect therapy support prices to remain frozen for?
Thank you, Senator Payman. Minister McAllister.
Thanks, President, and thanks again, Senator Payman. The board has been very clear about the methodology it's used to set prices, and I think in the question you're asking particularly about therapy prices. This year's pricing review saw the board consider, I think, as many as 10 million different data points from services provided across a range of therapies in different service systems, veteran systems, Medicare, and they use that to benchmark current pricing rates, because the principle that the board articulates, and they're really clear about this, is that people with disability should not pay more for services than other people in the community. And the purpose of undertaking the benchmarking is to understand what prices are being paid in other parts of the community and make sure that the prices being paid within the NDIS don't exceed those. And that's the basis on which the pricing review was set on this occasion.